All right, and welcome back to the Overlook Podcast, everybody. We have a very, very rejoiceful episode filled with opinions on, the one big thing that has happened to each and every one of us, myself and listeners included. Football is back, and we are pretty happy about that. Well, most people are, and, as you could imagine, it's not the safest time to play football right now, but here we are. We are underway. So the league is back. Pandemic season is officially here to stay. Across the league, teams and players are putting forward gestures to show unity amongst each other and bring attention towards, social injustice and ultimately demanding change, Von Leon, how are you feeling about football being back? Because we are in full swing, everybody.
I got mixed reviews on it, man. I'm excited that it's back. One, for the players to actually be able to kind of like do what they need to do in order for the real issues to be kind of like heard and seen. So them being able to use the field and use whatever resources they need to be able to do that, I really think it's a good thing that football is back for that reason.
Kicking it off, Thursday night football. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was going on with Thursday night football?
Well, man, we had like the Chiefs and the Texans, and I really, really think that was a good way of pretty much how Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, whoever idea it was at the time, to, really just come together and show unity. Because there wasn't a flag involved at all. But as you could tell, and as what I heard a lot of booing.
Yeah. Man, that was one of the first things that I don't want to say I was looking for the boos, but I was just I was eager to kind of see how the fans would react, to, the nation savior of football being back. And we're also, while we're on the field, we're still going to highlight these issues of social injustice, and we're going to show unity and try to end all of this injustice together. And I don't want to say that I expected them to boo, but there were definitely some booing. If I was at the game, I wouldn't have booed. I don't see the reason for booing, but ultimately, once I was checking it out on Instagram and through social media, and I took a look at the comments, and everyone's appeal to the whole the league locking together and getting together in the middle of the field is that we don't want to keep politics in sports. We don't want to put politics in sports. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions about it is this has nothing to do with politics.
Exactly.
Players coming together and locking arms, white, black, coaches, it does not matter who. This is all about the injustices that have been going on, regarding black people, regarding even athletes, there's so much more than politics, with the NFL's policy, with, kind of integrating a social injustice moment into every game. I feel like it's a great move. And I feel like the more that the league kind of continues to pay homage and kind of show some sort of understanding, that will do nothing but, kind of open others' minds as well, just to kind of be like, oh, well, maybe this isn't so political after all. Like, they're actually talking about, lives being taken live on the news, kind of live on our phones, people just, kind of dying. But I really hope that the fans out there, even fans of this podcast, just kind of, if you don't understand why things are, happening now, I promise you, just don't be so quick to rule it out, because I promise you will. There's a huge chance that you'll understand more in the future as the season goes on.
Exactly.
So that's my thoughts on it. I mean, how do you feel about the people booing?
Well, I'll first start off from a player's perspective. Just seeing the players, the coaches, everybody just come together for unity and just overall understanding and consideration for the true issue, which is racism. And, just seeing everybody come together on the field, just pretty much make their stand. That was really beautiful to see. It shows growth. It shows maturity. It shows that we're heading somewhere in a better future, in a better place. But when you hear the boos and everything, I know the players could see where everybody else stands, the audience, the fans, and some of it. But it's not everybody in particular, just for those that we're booing, that sees it as political, that sees it as, an issue that needs to get overlooked. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's not something that needs to get overlooked. It's something that needs to be, addressed. And I feel as though the players did a good job in doing that. And that was just from the Chiefs and Texans. I mean, Philly and Washington even did something as well, because you remember Philly stayed in the locker room.
Yes, absolutely. The Eagles and the Washington football team.
Yeah, the Washington football team. Yeah, let's run it back.
Yeah, right. We're not gonna get too much into that, but yeah, interesting name. But yeah, Philly decided to stay in the locker room, and I believe that, I'm not sure if they're gonna do it for every single game during the season, but the Miami Dolphins officially announced that they're gonna be staying in the locker room for all anthems. All anthems prior to the game. And I mean, hey, that's a very bold statement, just kind of coming out and letting you know, like, this whole year has been trash. Like, players on our team aren't comfortable, commending America before they put their lives on the line, because lives are being taken in America. So, I mean, hey, more power to the Miami Dolphins. I really feel like that's a positive move, a very bold move by them, and I feel like it deserves praise, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree, because you're just making a stand right there, and you're pretty much telling everybody, how they feel about it, and because, like I said before, it's issues that need to get addressed, and it's somewhere that we need to go, because the hard conversations need to be made, they need to be talked about, they need to be discussed, like. They just need to happen. And so I feel as though we're moving somewhere, and I'm glad that, everybody's coming together and being able to do it. And just seeing how the NFL is actually responding to it is good as well. So, and one thing that I'm really excited about is, old Cap being back in Madden. But we gonna talk about that later. Because I've been playing with him on that one, man.
You have. You got the new Madden.
You already know, man.
All right, see me after the show. Go ahead and see me.
For sure. 20 on first game?
10. Let's go about 10.
All right, we do 10.
All right. So yeah, it doesn't stop there. The Jaguars and the Colts, they just had a recent matchup, and a majority of the players were standing up except for one of the coaches. And that's very interesting, because when asked about this by one of the media, one of the linebackers, Darius Leonard, he kind of clarified the coach's intentions of him kneeling by, and I quote, "We're not talking to the black community. We're talking to the white men who are in power." That's what the Colts coach was apparently kneeling for. He wasn't, talking to black people. He's talking to the white men in power who make these decisions and who find these players for, kneeling and things like that, kind of speaking up and ultimately using their First Amendment. He's taking a different stance at it, from a coaching standpoint. And I really feel like that's a move that'll shake things up in the league as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, man, because a lot of respect, and a shout out to Coach Rich for that move, man, because that was a power move, because in the black community growing up, we always know we got the support of our family members and everybody. Mm-hmm. But just, when there's a white man in power, just being a black African-American athlete, just seeing someone show support and not, even though he doesn't relate to what we go through, but he understands and chooses to take action.
Exactly. And honestly, something like that, that's all that a player, asks for in a coach,
Exactly. And just to see that, just not as a coach, but as a man, it's like, yo, I respect you even more. Because it's like, hey, you really took a shot, because you're going to receive backlash for this. You're going to receive a lot of press for this move. But you knew what's valuable, and you understood, and you wanted to show action for change.
Big shout out to Coach. I really hope that, that kind of spirit continues to spread out throughout the league, within these coaches. So you make a great point there.
Those were the NFL games that we saw a lot of support and action from. But, man, college football is back as well, man.
Yes, sir. College football is back, baby. Not much tailgating, but hey, the vibes are up for the college football season. A lot of guys are getting that opportunity that they wanted and that they needed ultimately. I mean, because, who's to say, say if a lot of players didn't play this year, what would happen with that year of eligibility?
Exactly.
Like, do you really want to trust the NCAA with your last year?
I mean, the choice is in the athlete's hands, and it's a tough one because this is a life-changing decision. A lot can change in 1 year and 1 season. So for those to be able to take that chance, even with their health included, it's a tough one. You're putting yourself on the line because you're taking a risk. I mean, you're making a bet on yourself, which is really good, but also you got to be cautious of the results because you still have your life there for you, and you're a lot more valuable than football. But still, we understand that hey, you got to take a bet on yourself, even though the circumstances are tough.
Exactly. A lot of these kids are, it's obvious that, us young athletes, we kind of look at the NFL as the way out, and I can only imagine, being an athlete right now, being a redshirt senior, a true senior, or, maybe even that junior year where you really got to put some work in, to try to start that campaign up for you. It's a tough decision to make, and it's really interesting because we've had tons of players that have opted out of the season, but we're also starting to see some players opt back in the season due to just kind of watching everything go on and kind of figuring like, man, am I really gonna let this time pass, or am I gonna capture and seize this moment and try to make my dreams happen? And that's the dilemma that a lot of college athletes are facing at this very moment, and it's going to be very interesting to see throughout the season how everyone reacts, players and athletes.
Right. Especially with all this going on. And, we're just getting updates on Big Ten. The season's back, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we got an update yesterday, I believe, on the Overlook Instagram page. We covered a small story with the Big Ten holding a vote whether to start the season or not. Yeah. Literally, news broke out today. In a press conference, the Nebraska president, Ted Carter, he said this morning, keep in mind, he had no idea that he was mic'd up at this time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Yo, you were bugged up right there? Like, yo.
He's literally bugged, and I guess, I'm not sure exactly who he's talking to, but he states, and I quote, "We're getting ready to announce the Huskers and Big Ten football tonight." Now, that is something that has been in speculation for the past couple of days, but apparently we just got confirmation today by Nebraska's president. So thank you, Mr. President, for giving us a tip there. And he tried to retract his comments in a later interview, but news officially broke today that the Big Ten will be looking to hold an 8-game schedule, 4 home, 4 away. So how do you feel about that? The Big Ten's kind of jumping back in the game.
It's interesting to see. From a player's perspective, I hope all the players are able to achieve all the goals that they have set for this season. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they stay safe and healthy. And, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for guys to showcase their talents. But it's also another opportunity for guys to showcase what's really going on in this world and everything, all the issues that's going on as well. So, you got a lot of games to see, got a lot of interesting things to see, but hopefully everybody can stay healthy because there's a lot of stuff just going on back and forth, even with the news with LSU, man. Like, you just received news that majority of the team, not all, but majority of the team has COVID. And it's kind of sad to hear and scary to see. So we're just going to have to see how it all plays out.
Exactly. I mean, Coach O broke the news. What was it, today or yesterday?
I think it was today, about 4 hours ago or time.
Yeah, man, and he pretty much said plenty of our players tested positive for COVID-19 throughout just kind of workouts and things like that. And he just there was I'm not sure if if it's all clear right now, but he says moving forward he hopes to be able to maintain the purity and kind of just kind of keep the COVID out of the locker room. That's what he says he would like to do.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I think it's gonna be tough, man. Because, gosh, I mean, it's how do you regulate that? How do you move forward with the games to come? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, they have Mississippi State in 11 days, right?
Yeah, 11 days.
I think 11 days. Yeah, so
How many days are you supposed to quarantine? Like, if you even contracted coronavirus? Just
14, I think.
14 days.
14 days. And they got to play in 11.
And they got to play. And the news just broke today that.
So the question is, how do you handle it? How do you regulate that? And how do you even prepare? Do you have enough guys to play, technically speaking? And how does M State feel about it? Do they feel safe to play?
Right, exactly. Because what if one team is completely clean and another team has, a few guys who have tested positive for COVID, and you're not really sure the safety regulations on the opposing team, and it's a lot for all conferences to think about, because who's to say that you can't contract COVID from an opposing team, like one team could be doing everything that they can to stay safe, to stay healthy and, safe from coronavirus. But the other team, they could also feel like they're doing the same thing as well. But, something might slip. It's a contact sport every step of the way. And we ain't even talking about the refs. Are the refs getting tested? They touch the balls. What's going on right now?
That's a good question. That's a risk that you're taking right there. Gosh, man.
So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But we'd be crazy to think that a year would go by and we wouldn't see no SEC football. That would not go over well with the southern part of our nation. So,
man, it's like a religion down there, man. Goodness. But hey, man, it's gonna be interesting to see. Cause let's just say, what if M State wants to forfeit? Like, due to safety reasons, is that an L on their record or
a W?
Or a W, like, or is it just a star? I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see.
It loss on the record, W on the health, and it's a question mark on the decisions, man. We'll just have to figure it out, and I really hope that as the seasons continue to grow and as each conference, goes underway, that everybody's taking the safe precautions and just like check on your neighbor as well. Like the opposing schedule, like you kind of got to tap in with everybody. We all, as much as, players are going against each other and teams are going against each other in the times like this, we all really need to stick together as well.
Yeah.
Because ultimately their lives on the line. Yeah. And we are in 2020 and we are in the thick of it all. So, hey, but in other words, back to the Big Ten. Yeah, the Big Ten plan has been approved for 2020 season, and it's possible that they'll be starting as early as October 17th. Please let us. Oh, wow. This is insane. All right, so we just received a tip that USC has just released a statement towards the governor entitled, "Please let us play. We want a chance. # let us play." And this is a tweet coming from the receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown on USC. He literally just took to Twitter and mentioned the governor, Gavin Newsom, and addressed a statement, "Please let us play," from the USC football team. This is a very interesting development right now, especially that we're just now talking about the Big Ten getting things underway, and it seems like the FOMO has hit the Pac-12 almost immediately after. That's insane. So it's going to be very interesting to see now how the Pac-12 goes about things. Are they going to kind of mirror the Big Ten on this situation, or like? But
remember where USC is located. It's in Los Angeles, California. One of the second most.
Yeah, it's got some of the top cases in the world at the moment, and we are in the heart of it right now, ladies and gentlemen.
We are, and we're dodging COVID-19 bullets as we speak. I'm telling you.
Exactly. Overlooked is coming to you live from the heart of Los Angeles, so we know exactly how tough it is, and especially just the air quality in general with all the wildfires and kind of things going on. It's a very slippery slope, but it seems like the Pac-12 is willing to play some ball.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it.
We'll have more developments as they come, for sure. While we're even talking about lives being lost, there was a football player, Jamie Stevens. They called him Juice. He played for the California University of Pennsylvania. He actually died of COVID-19. He was one of the first casualties in the college football world due to COVID-19, and we're honestly speechless here at Overlooked because we take lots of pride in, student athletes and what we do and everything that we risk and are willing to put on the line, to represent our universities in a positive light, to go as hard as we can playing the game that we love, to, ultimately have a shot just to change our own lives. And, to kind of hear that one of the team's most personable players was casualized, by COVID-19. I'm not sure if he had underlying conditions, but even if he did, COVID-19 may have been the thing that put him over the edge. What have you read so far about Juice?
Yeah, with Juice, it was so far from what I've read, a majority of it was from the complications of COVID-19, which totally means they died of COVID. And it's just a sad story to hear and a sad thing to hear. And much condolences and prayers out to his family as they are still dealing with the loss of their loved one. Because based on what his coach has said, Terry Totten, but correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying it wrong, but the football coach at Central Catholic said he was, very athletic for his size, and he just had an electric personality that really just drawed everyone in the room. So you're not just losing just a football player, someone's losing a brother, someone's losing a son, someone's losing a teammate. And it's really something, that hit home for us at Overlook, because this is a risk that every athlete is going to take when they step on that field, and we just hope that everyone stays healthy, everyone stays strong and has a good season, but it's sad because Juice, if they could put one thing to describe him, it was he just had a great personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Great personality. And he was also the son of former Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals offensive lineman, Jamian Stevens. Now, he just lost his son due to playing a game that he loves, because it seems like football runs in the family. Yeah. And I can only imagine, kind of how he feels right now, losing his son to, this virus and doing it, playing with him playing the game that they both know and love. Right. So all of our condolences from Overlooked to the Stevens family. We hear you, we are with you, and we will keep fighting to make sure that student athletes are not taken advantage of going forward
or overlooked at all.
Thanks for tuning in to the Overlooked podcast. Stay tuned for next week's episode.